The whole reason why we even bothered to set all of this up, what you came up with right here. This has already been sent in to the state, addressing freedom, addressing real freedom. Not addressing regulation, but addressing freedom. There's a couple of things that you sent in. One, freedom to buy, sell, rent. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you own something, then you have the rights to it, explicit rights to it. And nobody can tell you what you can or can't do with your own property. I think that's something that a lot of people should be able to get on board with. I think you did an amazing job on this, to be honest with you. And if people start to think about the implications of a constitutional amendment, setting things back straight, as long as it's not corrupted by the bought and paid for media and the politicians that have a very vested interest in making things stay the way that they have been, then I think that this could be the start of what we could call in the future the modern day revolution.
So it's just called an act ensuring people's basic rights to their property and services. You can see the whole thing at comingfreedom.com if you want to see it there, and also like the progression of it if you're watching this in the future, like what it is now and what it is then, because it'll probably be a little bit different by the time you're reading it. But here it is. An act ensuring people's basic rights to their property and services, which I think should be something like, I think that our founding fathers actually looked at it as something that was included in the Constitution, just like obvious, like of course people are going to be able to buy and sell what they want and do these things, like why wouldn't they be able to?
So why should we have to write something in there stating the obvious?
Yeah, and I feel like this is just stating the obvious, but at the same time, it's definitely going to make some positive changes. Section 1, actually the only section of this, is pretty simple. It's just the freedom to buy, sell, and rent. First point is, any adult may freely buy, sell, or rent any property or service owned by them to any other willing adult.
That's pretty clear cut.
Yeah, it really is. It just means that anyone who's at this point over the age of 18, since 18 is the age of adulthood in the state, it's already been defined.
The accepted.
Yep, it's the accepted age. So any adult may freely buy, sell, or rent any property. So they're free to buy, sell, or rent any property or service that they feel that they're capable of providing to any other person who's also a willing adult who's over 18.
The state has a vested interest in how you sell your property and how you buy property. This would eliminate that. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do with your own property, no matter what anybody says. You own it. You bought it, right? Mm-hmm. So why should somebody else be able to come in and say, oh, because you did this, you owe me $400? Excuse me?
Yeah.
How's that freedom?
Yeah, because from that transaction, you owe $400 for selling it. The person who sold it just got the gain of selling this thing, and so they also owe like 20-30% on their section of the sale. So from that one transaction, yeah, because that's their income. So from that one transaction, that turns out to a pretty high percentage, and it's just crazy. Also, I mean, that's like one area that it would affect. Another area is this: you could buy, or that you could like provide any sort of service to anyone. Like you could just have a grill sitting outside. Since you're freely allowed to have your grill sitting outside, you could grill food and then sell it to people walking by. There would still be consequences if like someone got sick and someone sued you, that kind of thing. But you would be able to do it, and you'd be able to take that risk if you chose to take that risk of selling somebody food and getting money. But you would be allowed to do it. The same as like anything that you felt that you were capable of doing. If someone else agreed that you were probably capable of doing that, then you would have a chance to try it. And there's so many times in my life, at least, that I've wanted to do something, but I'm just not allowed to do it because of like
it's regulated.
Yeah, right? Because like you have to go to school for it and do all this other stuff. Even though like
you have a license.
Yeah, like I know that I could learn how to do it, whatever it is, in like a much shorter time than going to school for it, probably just by watching like YouTube videos, whatever. Just starting at the ground level, slowly working my way up. I could do that, and I wouldn't have to spend like 2 years in school and then or 4 years or 8 years or like whatever the hell it is.
And then apply to the state to be able to
Yeah.
do what it is that you've trained yourself to do.
It's just crazy. Like, why should someone else be able to say if we can do this thing or not when there's someone willing to pay us for this service that feel like we're able to do, they feel like we're able to do it. Why does this other guy have to come around and be like, you're not able to do that?
What does your freedom have to do with his opinion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, a good point to that is Mexico. You know, you went down there and you spent some time down there, and people sell food coming right out of their homes. You walk down the street, you can buy tacos out of somebody's home.
Yeah, or just like out in front of their house or whatever.
Yeah, and that's how people live.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that. And people buy that food, they eat that food, and they go on their lives, and they don't get sick.
Yeah.
You know, just because every now and then somebody may get sick off of food, you know, it's going to happen, period. There's no avoiding that. But on the flip side, there's no regulation that's going to stop it.
Yeah, and I feel like we already have the system in place. The system that will tell someone if this food that they're going to buy is going to be good or bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the state.
No.
It's called Google reviews.
And
Or
local
Yelp
word
or
of
like
mouth.
whatever else. Yeah, local word of mouth. Like whatever it is, but nowadays you actually do just have the ability to pull up your phone, look, be like, oh, this restaurant has a lot of bad reviews because, like, and that's not even going to last very long because they're going to go out of business. And then you can like look at a place this place has been in business for several years. They have awesome reviews. No one's complaining about being sick. I'm going to go here and eat. Or if you're still like paranoid about it, maybe you can go look in the back and see what it looks like for yourself. I mean, it's not
Exactly.
it's not that bad, and like most people don't care enough to go look in the back because they know they're not going to get sick from eating it anyway.
Exactly. What's the difference in buying your food from somewhere that some government has said, okay, since you bought a stainless steel freezer and refrigerator and you've got this grill that meets my ideals,
Yeah.
you can sell this versus out of somebody's home like in Mexico. You know, I personally, you know, I love going out to eat. Everybody loves going out to eat. But when it comes down to it, some of the best cooked food is home cooked.
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't you want to perpetuate somebody's well-being by helping them out with what they love to do? If it's cooking that they love to do and they want to help feed people, that's their passion,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it their right to be able to follow their passions?
Yep.
And it's our right to be able to buy whatever the hell we want to whenever we want to buy it.
Yeah, if we have the money.
Exactly. I don't need some G-man telling me I can or can't do anything. You know, especially buying, selling, or any. Somebody in Washington tell me they know better than what's going on here locally.
Yeah, they don't. Say that you want to buy lunch at this place.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go out to eat lunch with your wife or something. You and your wife agree that you're gonna go to this place. You're gonna eat lunch.
Yes.
And then, do you really need to call like anyone and ask them if you can go there and eat lunch? Like, do you have to call?
Can I eat there, Daddy?
Yeah, because if you have to call someone to ask,
It's basically what it's coming down to.
yeah,
I mean, really.
and you wouldn't call anyone
No.
and ask them. Of course not. But that's what we have to do for some stupid reason. We have to like these places. There has to be a middleman making sure that we only buy the things that we're like supposed to buy that aren't going to harm us somehow, or that I don't know, whatever the hell the reasoning is behind it. It's just a bunch of beep.
A lot of regulation for regulation's sake.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. And regulation breeds regulation. So you're right. We can go on and on and on about this one. I think a lot of people have kind of caught on to where just that first bullet point can lead you.
Yeah.
You know, just from going out to eat, you know, our choices have been diminished because of regulation, and our choice on what we can do as a living has been diminished because of regulation. You know, just back in October, I watched my job and my wife's job get regulated away because somebody else's ideals. Let me make this point very clearly. A banker, a lawyer, and a corrupt priest who is now in prison wrote this bill that put my wife and I out of work
Man.
Over $50,000 a year out of our household because somebody's corrupt ass ideals said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is that it's like the third party that's doing it. Because it's not the person that's agreeing that they want to buy that thing for that price, and it's not the person agreeing that they want to sell the thing for that price.
They have nothing to do with the transactions at all. Nothing.
Like, do they add any value to whatever transaction it is?
As a matter of fact, they only deteriorate from.
Yeah.
Because they've got to get theirs too, right?
Yeah.
So in everything that we did, we had to buy a license for that business. You know, we had to have a division of banking certificate as well. We were licensed through the city, we were licensed through the state, through the division of banking. We paid taxes, payroll taxes. You know, it was a well-run business. And because they were able to take the media and put out there what it was that they believed would get the bill passed for the masses to hear and not put out the whole truth of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to tell my wife and I that we can't make a living doing that anymore. And before that, it was the coal miners, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all the different miners.
Yeah, you know,
they definitely were one of the byproducts of everything going downhill.
You know, I watched a video a couple of years back about freedom and the regulation of it, and it was a gal in a dark room, and there was this voiceover. Well, they came after this person for doing this, but I'm not doing that, so it's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't coming after me, so it's not my problem. Well, then they came after these people. Well, I don't do that, so that's not my problem. And that's what we found ourselves in these days is people turn that blind eye to what happens to people like my wife and I. You know, we just lost our jobs. To people like friends of ours, Brian, who worked out in Wyoming. He was a foreman for a coal mine out there. He ran a crew. You know, he's out of work. You know, how many people do we have to see out of work before it dawns on these people that regulating freedom is not freedom?
Mm-hmm. No, and the regulations can't make more jobs; they can only take them away.
That's all they do.
Because you got to pay this other guy as well.
For his ego.
Yeah. No, you just got to pay this other guy who's like not doing anything to help you, to like come
to
in and
not
tell
represent us.
Yeah, to tell you you have to do shit a different way than what you know is like the right way to do it, or what is right for you to do it. Because you're the only one who knows if it's right for you to do it.
Exactly.
That way.
Just as the customers that we helped knew what was best for them.
Yeah.
And we had our customers' best interests at heart as well. You know, do they look at everything like that? No, of course not. They look at something that they can write a bill about and get people arguing with each other over, and that's how they gain the control. That's how they pass these laws. You know, same thing as having to have a restaurant license. How long until they regulate what we can serve for food? You know, well, they already do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no aspect of that business that isn't
It
regulated.
really already is. Like if you want to buy like a $10,000 grill or a $45 grill from a garage sale, only one of them's allowed to make the food. But I mean, sure, the 10,000 one would probably be nicer. Maybe someday, like once you really made it, you can go buy that expensive ass grill. But other than that, it's crazy.
Probably be able to buy that grill a lot faster if you didn't have to shell out as much in taxes, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would. just having that basic startup cost being so much higher than what it's supposed to be, and that's really the main problem with regulation in a lot of businesses, is that it makes the startup cost for any kind of business that you want to do just
impossible.
Impossible unless, I mean, so any business that I can think of really is going to cost like $200,000 to start, at least more or less, and that's kind of just like a basic thing. Like once you start going through all the regulation and everything. And the problem with like almost all employees is that they're never going to have $200,000 in their whole life to be able to try to do this thing.
Nor will they have the credit to do so.
No, and even if they did, that's a lot of money for anybody. It's just like a lot of money. So if you...
Enormous risk.
Yeah, so you could test out this idea that you have. Like say you wanted to start your own restaurant or whatever. You can test out the idea. You can just go garage sailing. You can find like a grill somewhere that looks like it's going to work good enough for you. You can find like a spatula or something there for like 10 cents, grill for like $35. Then you can go down to the grocery store, you can get some hamburger or something, and then you can just go make some hamburgers and you can sell it to people. Or you can go like, so then like to test out this idea of like, do I have the ability to like make a restaurant, and can I
build a customer base based on my cooking?
Yeah, like, so you can test that out for like $50 or less, or you can test it out
for $250,000.
Yeah, like, and that's just crazy. Like, why should someone have to mortgage their entire house and do all these things just to see if someone likes their cupcakes, you know, or just to see if someone likes like their hamburgers? It's crazy. Like, why should you have to risk your whole life for that? Just for
regulation's sake.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that does is keeps the poor people poor and raises the prices of going out and eating. Like, it keeps the prices higher for all the food that you buy whenever you go anywhere, because it has to be higher just to justify all these upfront costs that those businesses have. And then, like, it just takes away, like, the really low-cost option that you should have. Like, you should be able to just walk down and buy a nice hamburger, actually, for, like, $3.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's no reason that it should be $6 or something at Hardee's. Like, it should be just, like, a few dollars. But the reason is, like, and they're probably even barely breaking even because they have so much regulation and so much just junk they have to deal with.
And then taxes to top it all off.
Yeah.
Then they have to pay for the corruption that they've had to mitigate.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if the middle class is supposed to be the heartbeat of America, to make it so that the heartbeat of America is stomped on, is held down by an enormous foot. It does the entire masses no good if you take freedom and you smother it. Yeah. The only way that freedom and the middle class, the heartbeat of America, comes back around is if we can go out and buy a $15 grill and sell $3 hamburgers. If I wanted to go out and buy the tools to be able to do my trades and sell my services, that's another thing that is addressed in this first line, is the service. You know, for me it's the trades. For you, it's cooking. For Jen, it's her arts and crafts and dancing. You know, this is for everybody here. But why should I have to pay the government when I go out and I buy the tools? They didn't buy my tools.
Yeah.
Why should I have to pay them when I go out and I buy the tools and I get up and I put the gas in my vehicle and the wear and tear on my vehicle to go over somewhere to do a job for somebody who wants me to work for them? Why should I have to take any of that money that comes my way and feed the pockets of a politician that tells me that I can't do it?
Yeah,
where does that lead us? Where does that? This is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it really is. Like, you talk about this for days.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think we actually will. We'll probably just start like talking about little subjects, little topics about it, and kind of just defining the problem. Like, that's what I'd like to do with this whole show, is just like define the problem as much as I possibly can.